playing hide and seek with ghost children, an oppressive spirit, getting tugged again. Grab a snack and help us unpack all that and more. It's time for
Ghost Files Debrief.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Bergara, and that thing over there is my colleague, Shane Madej.
Hi, this is where every week, we answer your burning questions.
That's correct.
With some spicy answers.
That's right.
And I was gonna take a big swig of my coffee, but this mug's old and it's full of mold.
Okay. So let's get into it. Maag Farmhouse.
Yes, Maag Farmhouse, of course, with our pal DTune.
That's right, DTune. Jordan, thank you for joining us as well. He was great in the episode. You had a great time with him, huh?
I did have a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. He had a lot of little toys.
He did have a lot of little toys. As do I, though.
And it was a lovely
They're not toys.
It was a lovely location. I ate 3 hot dogs on my way. 2 or 3? I think I had 3.
Yeah, because it was in Orange County, so you dropped over to Portillo's.
I stopped at Portillo's in Buena Park.
Buena Park, yeah.
And I got, I think, 3 hot dogs. 3? 2?
You pre-gamed a ghost investigation with 3 hot dogs?
Yes, and I was running late, so I was eating them while driving. I was like,
oh shit. That's actually, I never thought about how hot dog would be a good drive-in food.
I hadn't either until I was eating it, and I was like, I gotta start doing this every day.
Well, because for me, I've always wanted to eat a burrito while driving, but then I like putting a salsa spritz on each one of my bites, and I wouldn't be able to do that while driving. But a hot dog already,
it's all
ketchup
loaded
and
up.
mustard already loaded up.
And I gotta tell you, it's sort of tempting fate to be eating 2 hot dogs before a ghost hunt.
Do you like looking at each bite of your hot dog before you have it? Because I do. That's why I have a problem with eating hot dogs in the theater.
You like,
you know?
Like you like to see like what is gonna...
I like knowing what's coming down the turnpike from
But if it's a hot dog, isn't it all sort of...
Yeah, but you know, anybody who knows has like had a hot dog where they put, you know, your ketchup, your mustard, your relish, your onions maybe.
Line of ketchup.
Whatever fixing you put out, it's not gonna be equally distributed. So sometimes...
It should be, it's a hot dog.
But sometimes you might have like, oh look, there's more onions or a jalapeno on this bite.
Well, you know what I do?
I like knowing that.
And look, we'll talk about ghosts, but this is Debrief.
Yeah,
and I ate hot dogs, so we're talking about it. When I eat a Chicago dog,
yeah,
you know, they put the pickle on there, they put the sport peppers on there.
Yeah.
I like even distribution of the sport peppers and the pickle. I take my pickle off, I take my sport peppers off, I take a bite of hot dog, I take a bite of sport pepper.
Okay, so you do know what I'm talking about.
I distribute it evenly, yeah.
So then you can't do that when you're driving.
If it's just like mustard, onion, like that's easy to distribute evenly. Don't you agree? Do you not agree?
I just don't like eating food in a movie theater because I do actually like looking at what I'm about to bite. I don't know why. There's part of the joy of having like an In-N-Out burger for me is like seeing each delicious bite as it's coming into my mouth.
How long do you look at it for?
Enough.
Okay.
Enough to get it going.
To get you going, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, ever since we left Maag Farmhouse, my stomach has been giving me a lot of trouble.
Hey, over here!
Oh, hey! What you got over there?
Oh, just a little daily treat from today's episode sponsor, Groons. Groons are a convenient, comprehensive formula packed in 8 gummies a day. This isn't a multivitamin, a greens gummy, or a prebiotic. It's all of those things and then some at a fraction of the price. And bonus, it tastes great!
Oh, man. Yummy. Well, actually, looks like there's 8 gummies in each daily snack pack because you can't fit the amount of nutrients they do into just one gummy. Plus, it makes up a little treat.
Groons contains 3 times the amount of dietary fiber compared to the leading greens powders.
And it means less tummy troubles, too.
And so many more benefits, from beauty to energy to immunity. Oh my!
I love this. I love these gummies.
And I love you.
Okay, I love you. Get up to 52% off. Just click the link in the description.
Now back to the show.
We went to Maag Farmhouse.
We went to Maag Farmhouse, and it was a fun time. I mean, this is probably, I saw a lot of comments from you guys talking about the Estes method, the double Estes method we did. Probably the best Estes session we've ever done, period, I would say.
People really seem to like it.
I like it. I'm people then.
You're people.
Because it was
a long time to have those headphones on.
Yeah,
I'll
but
tell you that.
You can't argue with the results.
I guess, I mean, I could. Yeah,
I don't think you
yeah,
can.
I
don't think you actually can.
But it was cool. It seemed like you guys had a good time.
No, it was a great time, and we're gonna get into your guys' questions in a sec here. Also, we also are gonna address a funny story that happened on Reddit.
We are, yeah.
We don't often talk about Reddit, but there's the Watcher Entertainment subreddit, and there was a story posted there that I'd like to talk
Someone
about.
sent our way, and we want to.
It made me laugh really hard.
Okay, great.
We try and avoid Reddit. We know it's an interesting place, but in this particular case, this story was sent to me several times over the weekend.
They wanted your take.
And I was just like, what the hell is this?
Ryan!
Should we just start with it? Let's just start with it.
Sure.
Why not? Let's get into the Reddit here.
Someone asked if this was posted to the Watcher Entertainment subreddit.
Yes,
and we
hold on,
thought
let me pull it up.
we needed to weigh in.
Look, we're people on the internet. We get it. There is a bunch of things people say about us that aren't true, and we usually just brush them off. But this one was so funny that I have to. This comes from somebody, by the way. Their name is LeBron James Left Toe. Did you know that?
I did not.
Because LeBron has messed up feet. It definitely reads like AI.
This I saw people theorizing that this was just a Chat GPT prompt generation or something.
It's very funny.
It certainly reads like that.
Meeting Ryan in person.
My
My experience, parentheses. Last month, I ran into Ryan from Watcher/BuzzFeed Unsolved. Appreciate you putting Watcher first. Totally randomly while out in public. As a huge fan, I was honestly a little starstruck. I asked if he'd take a photo with me, and he was super nice about it. Really cool guy, exactly how you'd hope he'd be in person.
Wow.
There's me reading
that's
that part.
all true.
Me reading that part makes me
Really
feel like
cool.
I'm like
Coolest guy.
just fucking like glazing myself. But like
We know it's not accurate right off the bat
No,
because
because-
if you've ever met Ryan in person, oh my God.
the worst. We talked for a few minutes after the pic, and I told him how much I love the show and have been a longtime fan. I ended up asking him if he ever genuinely gets scared on the trips him and Shane go on, especially the creepier ones. He kind of smiled and said something like, not as much as it seems on camera. Like most entertainment shows, a lot of it is scripted.
I've heard you say this to people all the time. I've seen Ryan with that coy little smile going,
If only you
not
looks
as
like,
much as it seems on camera.
It looks like
Like most entertainment shows, a lot of it is scripted.
No, what I usually say is I smile like this and I go, deception successful, and then I walk away. I didn't want to post this originally because I didn't want to ruin the show for anyone else, but it's been sitting with me for a while now, and I just felt like I had to share. It kind of bummed me out to hear that from him directly. I get that it's for entertainment, and that's how a lot of shows work, but still, it made it feel a little special. That said, Ryan was genuinely awesome and super friendly. I'm still a fan, just processing the reality behind the camera a bit more now. What do you think, Shane?
Well, I think we've done a good job at keeping that under wraps for a long time.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it's a fully scripted
We've
show.
long been told that the banter between us is just simply too clever.
It's really clever and full of rich ideas.
Yeah, it has to be scripted.
Yeah, really great stuff. You'd think if the show was scripted that those writers wouldn't have been run out of town 8 years ago.
Yeah. Also, if it was scripted, how much more ghosts would we see in our show?
Even
In your case, a ghost. We would see a ghost.
I want to be clear. The thought of us, I think it's very funny to imagine us memorizing our lines. Like, so in this scene, we're going to be tapping our belly buttons.
That's if you're not. The Old City Jail in Charleston, where there was a scene in which we try and coax Lavinia Fisher out of a jail cell by tapping our belly buttons to seduce her.
I am fully charmed that anyone would believe that there's any preparation for this show on my part beyond just housing 6 handfuls of goldfish crackers.
That's true.
That's my pre-show ritual.
Now, I will say that the history portion of the show,
Of course.
the stuff I'm reading about on camera in the studio to like address like this is the house's history and all that stuff, that's scripted because it's factual. We have to make sure that it's researched and true to say it on camera. But any banter or us on location in like the ghost houses, in the haunted houses,
Hey.
that's whatever happens. I think that's abundantly clear by sometimes nothing happening.
Well, I don't necessarily understand what this person's aims were, but very funny.
It's pretty funny. Look, like I said, we do get a lot of strange things said about us, and we don't usually address them. But this one in particular, I just couldn't resist. It's too funny.
He loves it.
But if this is a real person and not an AI script generator that I'm talking to, I hope you enjoyed the picture, I suppose. I don't know.
Pixar, it didn't happen. Send us your photo of Ryan Bergara.
Yeah, that's right. If it was at a theme park, I'm sure looking like I'm in a state.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like people saying, "Oh, he's a really cool guy." I mean, I don't know. I've seen people talk to you in public. You look scared most of the time. You look like
That's my default setting.
Lee Harvey Oswald when he's like walking outside the police station and they
Right before he gets popped. Yeah. He didn't look scared at all. He looked like he was hoping for it. Anyways, let's move on to some questions because we were here for a debrief of our time at the Maag Farmhouse. That's what you clicked on this video for, and we're gonna damn sure do that. So let's get into some questions. Let's go straight to at Aria_1112 for debrief. For Ryan and Shane, will you go back to Sally's house and Goatmans Bridge again? Will you come to India? For Ryan, how is your experience during solos now after interacting with the people there? By the way, love the show, guys. So, a couple questions there. I don't know if we'll go back to Sally House because we've been there.
We went back. It wasn't
times.
super exciting. Would you go back there if we ever? I mean, God, I can't imagine spending 24 hours in that house.
No,
Would
but
you ever do it for an alone?
Shane and I are doing a 24-hour alone style for Ghost Files. That's coming.
No, I want to be clear. I've seen people say, "Well, it's not alone if you're both there," but it's just us.
Just
There's
us,
no crew whatsoever.
nobody, and that's going to be in the next season of Ghost Files. At least part of it. That'll be very fun for you.
I'm excited for that. I was thinking it'd be fun to do a live stream during.
Yeah, we should.
I mean, we'll keep the location secret.
Yeah, and also speaking of the
It'll be
location,
a long 24 hours.
we're actually going to a location we've visited before on Unsolved that was highly controversial. I'm wondering if that's going to give away too much.
I don't know.
But it's going to be fun. Very excited for you guys to see that. So if you're jonesing for us to go revisit Unsolved locations, we are going to be doing that. And as far as like now talking to the people in my solos after the fact, they're still the same. Honestly, the Ghost Files alone experience made those solos less scary for me and actually more fun for me as an investigator. Because I'm alone and I do feel like I could get the best evidence when I'm alone, just because if you're talking to a kid ghost, you're not going to be as scared if it's just one person as opposed to me, Shane, and like a crew of people. I mean, our crew's not big; it's like 6 people. But yeah, no, I like the solos a little bit now, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever go back to the Goatmans Bridge? The thing.
I mean, for the sake of it, maybe we should, just because like it would be fun to revisit it. But honestly, nothing really happened there.
That's the thing. We've mentioned this before, but we walked away from that episode being like, "Wow, what a turd!" Like nothing happened.
Yes.
I guess we heard noises in the woods, but it's like difficult to even chalk that up to anything because it is a public park.
People. I mean, we saw people walking around that park.
I can see the only value of going back is to just confirm that absolutely nothing is going on there.
I think if we go back, I'd like to go back and then go into the town and interview some of the folks
That could be
in
fun.
the community so that we could paint a better picture of Goatman and what he means.
Could we ever spend 24 hours on the bridge? Bridge-a-thon.
Probably.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, let's go to @Zybernite. You want to take this one?
Yes, Zybernite says for debrief, would you dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Yeah.
I would.
You know that? You know where that's from.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on now.
My balloons.
@Melanie Johnson 6347 says for debrief with the double Estes method, could you do something similar by having Shane off a ways doing the Estes method and playing the Honey Tune by Ryan with the spirit box so both are running at the same time? Could that work? Like, it would not be an exact double Estes method, but you could possibly get different responses and conversations that way. It could help when you don't have a third person to assist.
That's interesting.
That's a good idea.
So it's a double Estes without having another party there.
I'll get the filtered noise from like a portal of some sort, because we don't actually have the honey tone anymore. It did explode.
Or just any other spirit box that's hooked up to a little speaker. It exploded?
Not literally.
Oh.
Like the insides probably did. 'Cause
Melted.
It just doesn't
Too
work.
much ghoul juice running through its
It
circuits.
happens every now and then.
We could probably do that on our 24 hours. If you bring a little speaker to hook up to the spirit box, I'm on another one. Yeah.
I like that. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
I like that.
We'll call it the Melanie test.
We'll call it the Melanie.
The Melanie Johnson.
The Melanie Johnson test. Let me write that?
Write it down.
I don't have a pen.
I've got a pencil, brother.
Oh, let me get it.
He's going to write this down real quick, and then we're going to get to another question. You wrote it down?
Great.
Will you remember what that is?
Of course.
Okay.
Because I'm taking this. Our next investigation is our alone special. So
Coming up.
I'm taking my notebook, obviously.
Here's our next question. Just wondering, 3346 for the debrief. Just a thought. If the household was run by stricter Germanic rules, a kid tugging on your jacket probably would never admit to actually doing it and would be probably embarrassed they got caught, likely terrified of punishment. So for the other ghost to call the one out for touching Ryan, it only makes sense that they would be incredibly confused and hesitant to try and tug again, perhaps seeing it as a taunt to get them in trouble. One more thought on the whole play situation. Maybe they were more comfortable with Ryan because he is shorter and has a higher pitched voice. That to children is a lot more friendly and approachable than a loud tall man. #shitfish.
Well, we're really building out my lore today, huh? Apparently, this is how the conversation went with that Reddit person.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show's scripted. Did you know that? It's entirely scripted. This is my real voice. I deepen it for the show.
What do you think of that theory, Ryan? Germanic, sort of.
I think, first off,
Germanic punishment.
I want to revisit that experience. So if we could just play a clip of the Estes method, particularly the moment when I get the jacket tug.
Who's that?
My name's Ryan. What's your name? Are you in here? Oh, shit!
Why?
Did you just tug on my jacket?
Feel it?
Yep, I did feel that.
So when that happens, you hear one of the voices says, "Did he feel it?" And he said he felt it. They're like that. That was like a really cool moment. So this theory could have some credence, perhaps, of why the other ghost was like, did he feel it?
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, they're not going to be outward and asking that question themselves. But there's a lot of other thoughts on this interaction and other parts of that Estes method. So we'll go into those now.
Well, it was really long.
What?
So there's a lot of thought. It makes sense.
It was
there's a lot of thought.
It was because there was a lot of stuff happening.
Do you think children are more comfortable with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think generally I'm pretty good with kids.
It's like dogs,
Dogs like me too.
Dogs, just this morning I was leaving my apartment and a lady was walking in the hallway with her dog.
Yeah.
And she did that and I was like, hello. And I walked past and she did that thing where she stopped because she was like, oh, he'll probably want to pet my dog. And I was just like, hi. And I just kept going.
That's fair. You like what you like. At Keldon or at Selden807, the spirit box interactions were actually insane. The conversations genuinely made sense. As a skeptic myself, this is a Shaniac here. It was awesome to witness the responses evolve from a seemingly shy/scared child to a child making friends with the visitors. Once the whole child thing was mentioned, it really put it all into perspective. Thoughts on that, Shane?
No.
What do you mean no?
Out of here.
They're off the team?
Sorry.
Hey, welcome to the Bulgaras.
Yeah.
It's good to have you.
It's a good place to be.
It is.
I don't know. Yeah, sure. I don't believe in ghosts is one of my traits. And when people are like, well, that's pretty interesting. I'm like, yeah, it's not, So that's my thought on it.
It's just reality to you.
It's fun. It's fun to do make-believe things, you know? It's like, this would be fun if we were like, if we had videos where we were like, oh, we're being chased by Michael Myers. Let's run through the house. That's basically what we're doing in all these episodes for me.
That's not in the script, though.
It's not in the script. Maybe next season we'll talk to the writer's room and see what we can get going.
We'll talk to Steven. Steven Lim writes all of our script. Stagnate says, 4055, the hide and seek bit where Ryan went into one of the rooms, heard the REM pod going off, then said, oh, you're over there, and started to going over to the room as Jordan said, don't react to that. And that was honestly like a horror movie, like something dangerous was trying to lure Ryan and succeeded.
Still a skeptic, but that was a really cool moment.
Oh, I didn't see that last part.
You're out of here.
Okay.
Gone.
Well, we could play that moment right now.
You in here? Oh, you're over there?
Hog!
You in here?
Don't react to that.
Well, I have to. You're in here.
I'm playing hide and seek with the ghost. REM pod goes off in this one room. And the REM pod, for whatever reason, when it was in that room, in that house, in the Maag Farmhouse upstairs.
What a house.
It did not like that room, and it was consistently going off in there.
I guess it did
Well,
I
mean, I didn't see anything in there that would be creating that kind of interference. Sometimes there's it could be like a microwave or cell phones or something like that, but it's junk in there.
Electronic interference.
Yes. And so I heard it go off in there, and then what we got from the Estes method was don't react to that. So that, to me, felt like just like a kid messing around in the moment, because I was so zoned in on talking to children that I had completely forgotten about the growly presence that's supposed to be in this house. So a lot of people, obviously, when you watch it later, it's a little more obvious that that's a storyline of something that may happen in this house. So like they were more concerned that something was trying to lure me in there, and the kids were saying, don't react to that, don't go in there, there's a scary person in there.
Scary.
But I went in there because I'm an investigator, so, you know, I mean, I didn't feel, for what it's worth, I didn't feel anything oppressive in that room.
That's good.
It felt to me like I was talking to kids. Until later, I mean, we're going to talk about it later, I think, in these comments, but there was something that happened later in the Estes method that I was a little bit more curious about.
Our next one is from Cindy
Pacific Northwest.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Cindercorn, Pacific Northwest. Now, it can't have been a coincidence that all of the devices and the spirit boxes were pretty much quiet while Ryan was dancing. He was definitely being judged.
That's fair.
Crying, laughing emoji.
That's fair. I'm not a good dancer.
What if they were rapt with attention? What if they were spellbound?
I feel like if they were judging me, they would have been laughing their ass off because it's so bad, and I would have gotten some responses on the REM pod. It would have been going, you know, it would have been like,
Yeah.
the REM pod laughing at me,
Yeah.
like a little
Nothing.
RTD2 machine. Nothing though. I mean, look, I'm not a good dancer. I tried to make up a dance move at the time. Shane, really good dancer, so good he almost, tore his knee at my wedding.
I did not notice that at the wedding, but yes, I danced so much at your wedding that I did. My knee hurt for 2 months.
You danced yourself clean.
I was like, did I ruin my knee? And then I was like, I should probably get this checked out. And then it started feeling better.
Do you remember what move it was?
It was the twist.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was when you get when you're like really down, you know?
Almost got you again. Have you done the twist since?
Not to that degree, no.
Literally.
Yeah, right? Yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's a shame.
Angle's not quite as
It was a
acute.
sight to behold for everybody who was at my wedding.
Oh, I still cut a rug. Okay?
The rug is useless. We got
Rug almost cut me.
We gotta fucking throw it away.
Yeah.
The rug definitely did cut you. The rug danced back.
Yeah.
Aunt Rizzle XNIJ.
That's awesome.
That's the question. That's awesome. Is the question. That's awesome. Both Shane and DTune said, careful, be careful at 3632. So not so much a question, but a comment of just something that happened in the Estes method. All right, I'm gonna move into a different room. Is that okay?
Be careful.
I will be careful.
That's pretty cool, especially because I don't think we've talked about this before, but the spirit boxes basically scan the radio, and they don't necessarily, you start them up and they start scanning. We did not sync them up.
No.
So odds are they weren't, at the same point or synced in any way. So that's cool.
Or if it's just the same ghost coming through in the same.
Right, that's what you think, yeah.
I think we know what you think it is.
I'm saying that is neat for the believers.
It is neat.
Because I'm saying it's unlikely that they're synced up and we would be hearing the same thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's all we'll get. At Dutchy the 5th 5745, the I'm here to help at 43 minutes made me think the mother came upstairs to help rein in the unruly children, perhaps. So yeah, so we did have a voice say that at the same time as the Flux 2, aka the Boosabee on the stairs, registered motion coming up the stairs.
That was mother.
While
That was
hearing
mother
the
motion.
voice say, I'm here to help. That could be the mother, that could be the father, that could be whatever this growling thing is pretending to be one of those two.
Could mother growl?
Mother could growl.
Could mother growl?
Sounds like a question for father. You know what I mean? I think father would probably be doing the growling though.
Filthy guy. Do you think that was mother?
No, I mean, I do think that was one of the parents because the vibe in the room, I will say, changed. The responses weren't as frequent. It felt kind of like kids were like, oh, damn, okay, playtime's over. Because even when I went back later for my solo, it wasn't as active.
Mother yelled at them.
I know.
Mother's growling.
Well, she was probably like, don't talk to a stranger who's in our house uninvited.
But German? Was she German?
Yeah, I think.
So she probably said something in German then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. All right, well, let's move on.
This one's from @DTune. This guy has the same name as DTune.
This is from DTune, actually. I put this in here Just wanted to read his comment out loud, so to give it more amplification in the show.
Yeah.
Just like I wanted to amplify that Reddit post. But DTune said, "Hey, thanks for having me. Y'all were my influence to start my ghost hunting live show, so this is a really cool full circle moment. If anyone has any question on anything I used, tech, process, beliefs, or even about my paranormal live streams, feel free to drop by a live stream and ask in person. Most of the tech I use in my own investigations, I've built live on stream."
Yeah, go check out his Twitch channel. Is it just DTune? He does live ghost hunts. They're very neat.
They're awesome. He just did one at the Winchester, I think last weekend. I was watching that. That was really fun.
His setup is extremely impressive.
It's crazy. He controls it all himself, and I think we are working on doing a live investigation with him for Ghost Files. So maybe look out for that in the future if we could get it together. But yeah, no, it's also thank you, Jordan, for saying that. That was very, very nice of you to say that. We were the inspiration for you starting your thing. It's
Jordan
cool.
also rolled with the punches of me being a a little stinker.
Oh, I talked to him before. I got him prepared. I also talked to him just because I was like, I get that you're usually like the lead paranormal investigator on your show,
but on this one, you're number 2. Sorry.
No, I talked to him to be like, I just want you to know I have no ego about this whatsoever. Chime in as much as you want. Be yourself.
Yeah.
I want you to feel comfortable to, and not feel like you can't do anything here. So.
And we really got to know each other when we were running lines before the episode.
Yeah, that's true. We
did a lot of rehearsal.
Well, I hung out with him at Six Flags just to, you could really get to know somebody over coasters and a theme park day, just so we could have some chemistry before we get into rehearsals and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it was a lot,
No, but he was a really nice guy, and it was really fun investigating with another investigator. Like that was it. Like he was setting things up before I had even asked, and I was doing the same for him, and like we both had similar ideas, and it was fun just bouncing off of each other. I think at one point Shane was just like, I think I'm just gonna.
Truly, the scene in the attic, I was like, you guys are having fun. I feel like the scene's about to end. So I'm gonna I'll do a bit, and I'm gonna leave right now.
Yeah.
And I'll give them, 30 seconds of having fun. And then I left, and I went downstairs and was standing there in the dark. And you guys went for another 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, should I go back up there? No,
I do what the script tells me to do. So
also, DTune will be there in next week's episode as well,
right.
which is part 2 of this episode.
When we go to the Kellogg house, which you saw in this episode.
We were happy to have him for both, but we were just going to have him for one. Yeah. And then we were like, hey, we're having fun. Do you want to hang out for the next
more hours?
location?
Yeah. And he was very gracious with his time, and he said, yeah. So I felt like we were asking him out on a second date, and he said yes.
He said yes. We got the yes.
And also the last part, too. I did see some folks in the comments questioning the integrity of Jordan, a.k.a. DTune. And I just wanted to say, this guy's a very honest man. He's a good guy. I don't believe for a second that there's any sort of tomfoolery on his part.
What you have to understand is that no ghost hunting technology is real. So when people are like, oh, it seems like someone's using an app and the apps aren't accurate, none of it is accurate. It's all pseudoscience. It's all horse shit. Okay?
Sure.
People don't like it when I say that.
But that's what you believe.
Care.
That's what you believe.
I'm the bad boy here,
I don't
folks.
believe that.
Fuck you.
But you could at least say that
it's all bullshit.
You don't believe that Jordan is coding his devices to say certain things.
No,
or
he's just using the same bullshit that everybody else uses.
Or
it's
the
all
Estes
horseshit,
method,
pseudoscience nonsense.
I know he couldn't hear me, so I don't know.
Yeah, so when we do the Estes method, we can't hear you. That's true.
I just wanted to defend his honor a little bit there and just say hey,
anyone who's
he did us a favor by coming on the show to investigate with us. Trust him.
Trust him. He's no worse than he's still worse than any other ghost hunter.
Which is us.
Yeah, or any other ghost hunter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. Did you have a lot of fun at the farm? I had a lot of fun at the farmhouse. This was one of my favorite
investigations.
It was a cool location.
It was really nice. Yeah. And the next house for part 2 is awesome. That house is one of the most ornate, beautiful homes we've ever been in. I really, truly believe that.
The kitchen.
Spectacular.
Oh, that's an oval.
It was.
An oval kitchen.
There was only one blemish on the house, which was the sink that had an actual blemish on it in the shape of a big penis.
There's a penis stain in the sink, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Is that in the episode?
I think so.
Okay, keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out for that penis.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that wraps up this investigation. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Ghost Files, as well as this debrief wrap-up that you just watched. And if you want to see the next episode of Ghost Files, the season finale, part 2 of this right now, you can head over to Watcher TV. It's already up there. You can sign up for a free trial, you know.
Get your foot in the door.
Get your foot in the door. We're doing a bunch of fun stuff up there. We just watched Friday the 13th, a watch through with commentary from us, where we showed it to Stephen Lim for the first time, and he almost pooped his little pants. It's a fun time.
I think he did poop him.
I thought so.
I thought so.
I didn't want to say anything.
He was sat in this chair, and it's still wet and brown beneath where I'm sitting. It was definitely him.
No, for sure. And when I read that in the script, I wasn't sure how we were going to execute it, but I think we did a good job.
Did it well. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week for our little spring season finale
That's right.
of Ghost Files.
And thank you for the suggestion again.
Johnson?
Melanie Johnson. Melanie Johnson.
It's funny because we were at the hotel and we spent the night there before we shot there.
Yes.
And that entire first night, it did not occur to me that the place was haunted.